There we go. Wonderful American voice telling us the recording is in progress. Lovely to see you in your Santa's outfit there, Keith. Right, so welcome everybody to creating a great first impression on LinkedIn. My name's Alan Ruddock, and probably most of you know me, but just for those that might watch the recording that don't know me, why should you listen to me? Well, I have a varied corporate career. Initially as a trainee accountant, and then in project and program management in financial services. And then when I got made redundant for the second time back in 2003, I set up a consultancy business with a former colleague called Transformist Consulting Limited. And we thought we're great project managers, people will buy us. But of course, we had no idea how to run a business. So what happened was, I actually closed my first business. My business partner got a bit seasick of the roller coaster, went back into corporate life, and we closed that business down, and I decided to start again. Why was that? Well, as I say, it was okay, but it wasn't great because we just really had no idea how to run a business. Our marketing really wasn't up to it. So I decided to go back to school and learned about marketing and more specifically about how to run a business as well. And the upshot of that was I put that knowledge to use, and I created some great content in my new business, Arrow Management. So I created guides and a book and various stuff. I used a bit of Twitter to help get it out there and grew that into £100,000 plus per annum consultancy business. I then applied a lot of those lessons when I wanted to start moving away from that because of a couple of health scares and got fed up with the commuting to all parts of the country and the world. I then applied the knowledge I'd learned into a variety of businesses with my ex-wife and also into a local support group, the business support group that I run, the Guildford Hub. And in essence, used all of that knowledge that I gained. But the core reason I was able to build my business with that core content into £100,000 per annum was LinkedIn. In fact, I got virtually all of my customers from my consulting business through LinkedIn. And that's what I do now. The key elements of that knowledge were that it was all about market message media. That was one of the really big, important lessons that I learned. Most people, when they go into business, they start at the wrong end of this chain. They start at the media end. They go, oh, I should be on Facebook. I should be on Instagram. I should be on LinkedIn. So they put something up there without really thinking what they're doing. And they think, well, I've got to put some messages out. So they start writing messages to get out there on those social media platforms. And they often don't ever really consider who their market really is and whether they're actually on the platform that they are posting on. And what I found with LinkedIn was, or rather with project and program management, my core audience were on Twitter and on LinkedIn. And I used Twitter to drive people towards my LinkedIn profile. And then I was able to connect and engage with them through LinkedIn and actually then turn them into paying customers. So I inadvertently stumbled on LinkedIn and how to use it. And I inadvertently stumbled on what I now term as my road to revenue on LinkedIn. I'd understood what I wanted to do, and I understood my target market, and I optimized my profile to actually attract that target market and drive my business. And I was very good at it. I'm turned that into well into six-figure business every year. And it was great and provided a good, comfortable living for me for a while until I wanted to get out and do other things. So that's what I do now is I take that learning around LinkedIn and the general marketing and business knowledge and provide that as coaching through Link Business and specifically on LinkedIn through my LinkedIn Mastermind group, the Mastermind Link Business group. So that's what I do now, and that's why we're here today. And but before we move on, I'd like to talk about a little bit about why you should be bothered with LinkedIn. Hopefully you're here because you want to be bothered with LinkedIn, but let me just emphasize why you should be bothered with LinkedIn, because it's all about trust. And this was a survey run by LinkedIn themselves 2 or 3 years ago, and I would suspect that the percentages are much more biased in favor of LinkedIn now than ever before, because trust in Facebook and Twitter has gone down. But it's almost double of its nearest rival. It really is the trusted social media platform. And why is that? Why do people trust LinkedIn? Well, it's all about the structure of the profile. First and foremost, and we'll talk about this a bit more, is you can see who you're talking to. You actually see the person you're engaging with. It gives you their experience. It gives you their education. It shows you the recommendations. It shows you their activity. There's a hell of a lot of stuff that goes into an effective profile on LinkedIn, and it's really difficult to fake that with any credibility. And that's why people trust LinkedIn. That's why it has this reputation of being the trusted social media platform. Now, some of the common mistakes I see with LinkedIn profiles is that it's treated like an online CV. Now, that's partly LinkedIn's fault, because LinkedIn generates most of its revenue from the recruitment market through people placing job ads or recruiters buying into the various LinkedIn premium platforms to find and engage with target clients and with target candidates. And LinkedIn, if you start a new profile, LinkedIn will encourage you to create your profile very much along the lines of an online CV, which is great if you're looking for a job, not great if you're a business owner looking to do business. But as a business owner, you're probably going to be looking to search out people on LinkedIn that you could potentially sell to. And the fact that they've built their online profile like a CV means it's keyword stuff. And that's going to be really great for you to find and connect and engage with your target market. So it's not a bad thing that LinkedIn do that, as long as you know what you need to do to turn it into a profitable source of revenue for you. Another problem I see is the tired profile, and that might be one or two people are watching this webinar today because they know that they haven't done anything much on their profile recently, and it's about time to spruce it up for 2022. I've been putting out some posts where I've said your LinkedIn profile is not just for Christmas, it is for life, and you do need to nurture it. And that's what this session is all about. It's giving it a spring clean, making sure it's current and fresh and relevant to your target market. And there's also the bland profile, the profile that really just does not talk to anyone much in particular. And again, we'll talk about how you can avoid that in today's session. Now, people will find you. They will Google you, and you should do this. You should Google yourself on a regular basis. Now, I hadn't done this for probably a couple of months, so I got a little surprise because other people will Google you. And if you've got a LinkedIn profile and you're anything like active on LinkedIn, your LinkedIn profile will come up #1 in the search results. And there I am, #1 in the search results. And I thought, oh, I'm #2 in the search results as well. And I thought, hang on a minute, that doesn't look like me seeking opportunities. I haven't put anything like that on my LinkedIn profile. In Guildford, England. So I clicked through and somebody set up another profile in my name, claiming to be in Guildford in Surrey. Now, there is only one Alan Ruddock that I'm aware of in Surrey. Hopefully, this is actually somebody else trying to pass themselves off as me. So I have reported that profile to LinkedIn to hopefully get it removed. But you really should be Googling yourself every now and then just to check what Google is seeing as you and what it's saying about you. So it's really important. So people will find you on LinkedIn. They might meet you in a Zoom room, they might meet you face to face, or they might just have heard of you or been told about you by somebody else, but they will Google you and they will almost certainly click through to your LinkedIn profile. And that's why you need your LinkedIn profile to create a really great first impression. And that's what we're all about talking about today, creating that really great first impression. Because the last thing you want to do is turn up on LinkedIn a bit like this, all a bit bedraggled and drab and there's a tie hanging down a bit. People don't do that sort of thing, surely. Well, they do it in real life, and I'm sure they do it on LinkedIn as well. You may have heard me tell this story before, but when I was in corporate life, I was doing a software selection for a new consolidation system for the bank I was working for. And we went on a user site visit to look at one of the contenders. And I took a senior manager with me who was part of the decision-making board, and one of my colleagues. And we arrived at this very plush office in Windsor, a lovely glass atrium. And we walked in, and as we walked through the door, I could see in the distance the salesman who was going to introduce us to his client. He got up off the sofa that was in the reception area, and he'd been lying down on the sofa. And he had a jacket on. The jacket was as crumpled as this guy's shirt. His tie was probably even lower down than this guy's, and he didn't have that much hair, but what hair he did have was sticking up all over the place. He'd obviously had a really rough night and had a quick nap on the sofa because he'd got there earlier, I think. So we went and saw the client, and the client was very glowing about the software, and we got good vibes from the client about the software. But then on the train on the way back, my senior manager colleague spoke to me and said, I don't care if that piece of software is the best thing since sliced bread. I'm not buying anything from that idiot. So making that all important first impression is really, really, really important. And you only get that one chance on LinkedIn, just as you do in real life. So you much prefer to be turning up warm and engaging, just like this. And that's what we're going to aim to do, is to get you into that sort of mode today. So I ran a poll a couple of weeks ago on LinkedIn to see what people thought was the most important part of the LinkedIn profile. So here are the results from that poll. So 19% said your profile photo, 70% said your headline, 4% banner image, and 7% said something else. There was a really telling comment here from one of my connections. It said, it's all of them surely, but in the first instance, get a good photo. It's like a boarded up shop otherwise. And I think he's absolutely spot on here. There's a whole bunch of things around your profile and what people see when they first of all go to your LinkedIn profile that make up that first impression. So it really is all of them together. There are more important elements in terms of getting it right to create the right first impression. But if you haven't got the right photo there, you may never get past first base. So in my book, it's really important that you've got the right photo to get there. And that's what we're going to talk about first and foremost, is your photo. So quite clearly from what I've just said, not having a photo is an absolute no-no. You must have a photo of you on your profile picture, on your profile page. So that means not a picture of your logo or of something that represents what you do. That's also a no-no. And if it's going to be a photo of you, we need to be able to see it's you. So no holiday snaps, please. I don't know, who is this guy behind the ski mask? Yeah, just don't cheat or try and skimp and save a bit of money. A good profile headshot doesn't cost a great deal of money, and it really does pay dividends. So that's a no-no too. The profile picture also needs to be appropriate. It's a very attractive young lady, but I would suggest that unless her business is selling fur hats or imitation fur hats, it's probably not an appropriate photo for your LinkedIn profile. So here's my profile photo from years ago when I was on the project management side. Yeah, in those days it was all suit and tie, and you'll probably still recognize me from this photo. So it's okay, but it's not how you would see me face to face in Zoom, or more likely at a meeting or an expo. So that's okay, but not brilliant. It needs to be current. And I often find this a problem with our female colleagues or female clients who have a tendency to change their hair color, and sometimes, and it can be difficult that you turn up and you're not sure who you're looking for. So that's how you would see me. If you come to the expo in January, I will be probably wearing a blue shirt and a blazer or jacket, and that's pretty much how you'll see me if I come to a meeting in your offices or your place of work. So it needs to be current. It needs to be a good enough photo that they are going to be able to recognize you. And there are all sorts of rules about how to get that good photo. You need to make eye contact. And the way you make eye contact through a photo is you make sure that you're looking into the lens when you have the photo taken. And I see a lot of people posing and trying to look sophisticated and serious or very businesslike, and they're not looking at the camera. It's about you. Make contact and be engaging. You need to smile. So many people don't smile in their photographs. Raise your eyebrows slightly so you're looking interested. And I always suggest that when you have the photograph taken, imagine you're about to lean forward and shake hands, because that leaning forward just makes you that bit more open. So I have 7 rules that I normally would take you through if we were working one-to-one on how to make a great photograph. And then we've just covered a few of them. So yeah, it needs to be current, it needs to be relevant, and that will really kick the ball off in the right way. It will get you past first base, because once people have seen your photo, the next thing they'll be drawn to is your name and what's underneath it, which is your headline. And this is where most people felt that there was the most important part of your profile in terms of creating that great first impression. Now, again, I see so many profile headlines. If you don't, first of all, if you don't actually edit the headline, what it will do is we'll take the job title from your most recent experience section and put it in there. So you'll see a lot of people with CEO or owner at or whatever, and that really does nothing for you. Your profile needs to answer 3 of the 4 most important questions. Question number 1 is who am I really targeting? Who should connect with me? So my first sentence in my headline is, do you want more business from LinkedIn? So I'm saying to people, if you want more business from LinkedIn, you really need to connect with me, because I'm going to help you get that. Yeah. And that's what your profile needs to do. It needs to answer that question. Who should connect with you? I had one client who is a high-end SEO and Google AdWords specialist. And his profile headline was all geared around targeting only people that were really, really serious about SEO and Google AdWords. And if you didn't read and understand his headline, you weren't in his target market. So he used his headline to actually pre-qualify connections, because people that didn't understand his headline wouldn't be interested in him. So the second question you need to answer is, what do you do for your clients? Well, in the second sentence here, I work with you to create a powerful profile and show you how to leverage it to get more leads. So that's what you're going to get from working with me. I told you who you should be if you want to work with me. This is what you're going to get from working with me. And the third question you need to answer is, why should you care? And we've already talked about this. You should care because LinkedIn is the trusted social media platform where people will search you out. And that's why you need to have the right sort of profile to actually attract your client market and explain to them what you can do for them. So in just 3 sentences there, I've answered 3 of the 4 top questions that your profile has got to answer. And the same applies to your website. It should be answering the same 4 questions. The 4th question is, what next? On LinkedIn, it's obvious. The next is either connect with me if we're not connected, or message me if we are, so that we can get talking about how we can actually generate leads through LinkedIn for you. So that's really the essence of your headline. Now, I can, at times I've spent over an hour working with a client, going through potential permutations of their headline and testing things out. And then we've put it up there and we've tested what the reaction is to it from potential connections. And then we maybe have tweaked it again. So it's really, really important that you really spend some time thinking about this. And I always start with some post-it notes and a whiteboard, and I just start scribbling down keywords that are relevant to what you do and why people should connect with you. And then we try and move those words around and create some sentences. And then we add in just like things like the little stars here to make it stand out a bit more. Now, some people go completely overboard with the emoji type graphics, and they've got rockets and banners and medals and God knows what else going on in there, it starts to look a bit spammy. I think you need to keep it looking reasonably professional without being spammy, and it's the words that really are important, and you just need the odd special character to draw out those words. So that's your headline that creates this all-important first engagement, if you will, with your target audience. Now, behind that, you've got your banner image. Now, your banner image is sitting there, and if you don't have a banner image, you'll just get the bland wavy thing. It used to be the sort of stars connected, but now you get a bland wavy thing that's even worse than the stars. And you're missing an opportunity to reinforce who you are and what you do. Your banner image should have your logo in it. It should have a few words about what you do, and it should perhaps show what you do. So here it's got me, I'm standing up, I'm delivering a talk, which is something that I do quite a lot of. So people know what to expect, and just reinforcing everything I've said in my headline, and what they'll read in the rest of my profile. So your banner image is really, really important. You can create these very easily using Canva or just using Paint. I created this using Microsoft Paint on my PC. I just put in some images. The sizing is easily found on the LinkedIn help section. It will tell you what the dimensions are, what the aspect ratio is. So they're pretty easy to create. And if you're really naff at doing this sort of thing, just ask a VA. A VA will be able to knock one of these up for you in less than an hour. So, and it's well worth spending because it makes your profile look so much more professional. But as I said, when I talked about the poll, it's a whole host of things, not just your photo, not just your headline, not just your banner image. There are a bunch of other things in there as well that create that right overall great first impression. And the one that often goes missing for small business owners is the company page. So I'm just going to go through why it's important to have a company page for your business. Firstly, it builds credibility, because when somebody looks at your profile, to the right next to your name is this section here, which shows your company name and your logo for your most recent experience, the one that's at the top of your experience list on your profile. Now, if you don't have a company page, or you haven't bothered to load your logo on your company page, instead of the logo, you'll get this sort of blurry blob or square blob, which when you go scroll down to the experience section, it looks like that next to your business name. That really doesn't sort of do you any favors whatsoever. And if you create a company page and create and add your logo into it, that's what you get when you scroll down to the business to the section in your experience section, and it then appears as it does here in the red circle or red oval on the top of your profile. It just helps to build that credibility. Added to that, you get some SEO benefits because the company page has backlinks to your website. Because company pages and content on company pages doesn't get that much traction for really small businesses, it doesn't matter if you put a load of links back to your website in there. That just helps with your SEO the whole time, because it's building those valid backlinks. Google always recognizes LinkedIn as a trustworthy source for links to your website. You can also comment as your company page. So any comments that you see in any posts that you see on LinkedIn, you normally have to comment as your profile. But there's a little trick you can use by getting your company page number and reloading the URL. I wrote a post on this some time ago. So if you Google or rather search my profile for company page, acting as your company page, you'll find this article. But there's also now a Chrome extension you can add in. So if you use the Chrome browser, you can add in a company extension, which allows you to comment on any post whatsoever as your company page, and that can get your company page much more traction. You can also share company content. So if there's more than one of you in the business, you can share company content and you can both comment on that company content. It's a great way of, again, getting more exposure for your business. And if you're a technology company at the moment, you can create product pages. And the great thing about product pages is you can get those product pages, can get reviews. So you can ask people to give reviews of your products, which is really powerful. And I'm hoping that there's been talk from LinkedIn about rolling it out to more than just technology companies. I think they should. I think it would be a great boon for small businesses to be able to do that. And hopefully that will come early in 2022. So those are some really important things why you should have a company page, because again, it builds the overall credibility of that first impression when people look at your profile. There's also your contact info. If you're looking at a profile on a desktop, the contact info is right at the top, just under your headline there. There's a link to your contact info. If you're looking on the mobile, you have to scroll right to the bottom of the profile to find the contact info. But yeah, there's a lot of possibilities in here that you should be making use of. You know, it's online networking, so stop hiding. So many people don't fill in their contact information. You've got 3 website URLs you can use there. So you can change those at any time. I've got 3 different businesses, so I've got 3 different websites there, but you could have one in there for your main website that you want to send people to, where you might want them to sign up to your blog. And maybe you've got a free download that you want people to sign up for. You could put the URL for the landing page for that in there. You might have a special offer that's coming out, and you can put the URL for that special offer in there. And so leverage those 3 website URLs that you can put in there. You can change them as often as you like and leverage them to drive more business. You should use your tracking phone numbers. So you've got a phone number there. A lot of people don't put a phone number on there, but I have what are known as tracking numbers. So I bought a dozen numbers in Guildford in a certain range, and I use a different number for each piece of marketing that I do. So anyone rings 01483 387 053, I know that they found my number from my LinkedIn profile, because I get a report from my telephony company telling me what numbers have been rung when. So I know exactly which calls have been generated by which piece of marketing. And then you can also add as many Twitter accounts as you've got onto your profile here. Oh, and also don't forget your own profile URL. I'm lucky enough to be able to nab Alan Ruddock, because I did this really early on. You might have to get a bit more creative about tailoring your own profile URL, but you should customize that so it's easier for people to type in. It's not often used these days, but it looks better if you're going to copy it and put it onto a slide or on a piece of marketing material or in your email signature or anything like that, because it will come, otherwise it will come with your name and then a whole series of random characters after it. So you really should customize that. So as I say, this is online networking. Don't hide. Put your contact info on your profile. Then there's things like one of this year's new features, the cover story video. So if you look at my profile, you'll notice I've got a colored ring around it, and that means I've got a LinkedIn profile video cover story. And what happens is when you load my profile, my picture here will suddenly turn into a little 30-second video when you first load it, and I start talking, and it's your opportunity to talk about your business. Again, so few people are doing this. You can stand out from the crowd by doing this. You've got 30 seconds to talk about you and your business and what you can do for your clients. It's really, really important. Now, you can only add it on a mobile device. You can edit it or delete it on the desktop, but you can only add it on a mobile device. And as I say, you've got a 30-second window there. So it's your 30-second networking pitch. You can have that on your LinkedIn profile, right at the very top of your profile, so that when anyone logs onto your looks at your profile, there it is for you. So it's really, really important. The final thing I wanted to talk about on this sort of top part of the profile here is name recording and pronouns. So next to your name, you've got a little speaker, and you can record a 10-second message so that you can explain to people how to pronounce your name. Or you can use it to give a little 10-second sales pitch or intro pitch. I wouldn't advocate a sales pitch, but certainly a 10-second intro. Again, you can only do this on mobile, but it's really valuable, particularly if people do struggle with how to pronounce your name. And then right next to that is your pronouns. Now, a lot of people don't bother with this, but it could be important for your audience. So if you're dealing with an audience or working with an audience, or your clients are very concerned about this sort of thing, then it's important that you demonstrate your support for them by putting what you wish to be known as in pronoun terms on your profile. Again, it creates the right impression in your target market. It can turn some people off. When my son saw this, and he said, "Dad, you're being all woke, stop it, take it off." So I understand where he's coming from, but for some people, that people, it matters to some people. And if they're in your target market, then maybe you should have your pronouns being talked about here. Now, I quite often get asked about people saying, well, I look at my profile and it says open to rather than connect, or follow. Why is that? Why is that happening on my profile? Well, it's because when you look at your profile, you're in edit mode. You're looking at it from your perspective as the owner of the profile. You're not looking at it as if somebody else is looking at it. So if you look at your profile, up on the right-hand side next to your banner image, there's this edit public profile and URL link. And if you click on that, it will bring your profile up as if it's being seen by somebody who's not logged into LinkedIn, but has searched for you on Google and brought up the LinkedIn system. So it says sign in to connect. And that's what your profile will look to other people. And you really do need to be looking at your profile through the eyes of your target prospects, not through your own eyes. See, you're blessed with the curse of knowledge. You know all about you. You know all about what you do for your clients. You know all about your business. But that means that you are prone to making assumptions about what you mean and what other people are going to understand from what you've written on your profile. So you really need to take a step back and look at it from your prospect's perspective. And that's what this element of LinkedIn enables you to do, to see your profile as other people see it. And that's really, really important. So we've done all of this work. We've made a lot of changes to our profile, and we've got this really great first impression out there now. And we can start therefore connecting with people and posting and what have you. And that's where my social media mantra kicks in. Because whether you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, connections are vanity. So people say, oh, I've got 10,000 connections on LinkedIn. Whoopie-doo. What does it mean? How many of them have actually engaged with you in the last month? How many can you message and get an instant response from? How many are really looking at you and your business as a potential client would? Because it's the engagement that's the sanity. You need to get that engagement if you really want to leverage that first impression and turn clients in, or turn prospects into opportunities. Because it's opportunities that are king. That's why you want to be on LinkedIn. You want to be on LinkedIn so that people will see you, see your stuff, buy into what you do, so that they then become your client. And that's what this is all about. And so finally, some rules for engagement. Find a reason to connect and explain in the connection message why you're connecting with somebody. I see so many people still sending connection requests with no connection message, or just say, I would like to add you to my LinkedIn profile, to my LinkedIn network. It's really bland, and you're much less likely to get acceptance. If you go and look at their profile so that when they see that you sent them a connection request, but they also get a message from LinkedIn saying that so-and-so looked at your profile, it shows that you've actually taken interest in the person. And then if you can find 1 or 2 reasons in their profile to connect, absolutely great. Put that in the connection message. If you can't find 1 or 2 reasons to connect from their profile, don't send them a connection request yet. Instead, follow them. Go and see some of their content. Go and look at some of the comments they're making on other people's content and engage with their content, engage with their comments. Then after a couple of weeks, go back and send them a connection request saying, I see that we both commented on Fred's post, and I was really interested in your take on that and thought it'd be really good to connect. You've manufactured a reason to connect, and they are much more likely to accept that connection request. So you've really got to think about your strategy for connecting. This is what we talk about in different aspects of the road to revenue. You should never pitch, certainly not in a connection request. It's all about starting conversations. And you should be commenting more than you post on LinkedIn. Posting is important because it demonstrates your expertise, but you can demonstrate your expertise through comments as well. And commenting gets you much more credibility from the LinkedIn algorithm if you're actively commenting in a meaningful way on other people's posts. And finally, make sure that you demonstrate your expertise and add value with your comments. Bland and pointless comments won't gain you any friends, won't gain you any ticks with the algorithm, but you can easily demonstrate your expertise by adding in some valuable value in your comments when you connect with other people. So I talked about this right at the start when I talked about discovering the LinkedIn road to revenue when I created my second consultancy business. And I'd created a strategy to use LinkedIn with Twitter and my website. I then understood my target market, and I understood that they were on LinkedIn. I optimized my profile to, just as we've talked about today, creating that right first impression. I had an idea of the journey I wanted to take my clients on, and then I was able to find them on LinkedIn, get connected in the right way, use tailored engagement to get to a position where I knew that this person was ready to talk business, and took them offline. And that's what the LinkedIn road to revenue is all about. Now, I'm in the process of rewriting my online LinkedIn mastery program, which will take you all the way along the road to revenue. And it will enable you to actually leverage LinkedIn to really generate leads in your business. And there are a number of ways you can get involved in the LinkedIn road to revenue. There's my mastermind group, which has got weekly mastermind calls frequently. We frequently run additional sessions that are only for the mastermind group. I often make public webinars, the recordings only available to the mastermind group. We run an ideal customer workshop. I run many of these during a year. So I'll often repeat them when we get new members coming in, so that everybody can get the opportunity to work with me on these. You get access to a private LinkedIn group. We run 2 15-in-2 challenges a month, which some of you may have taken part in. Existing members, as the program gets released and my rewritten program gets released, existing members, because they've all been with me for quite some time, will get access to that program as part of their membership. Now, if you want to sign up to the Link Business Mastermind, it's £47 per month going forward. And if you commit to 6 months up front, then you will get instant access to the online mastery program when it gets launched in January. Or you can just join the mastermind group, wait 6 months, and then get access given to you after you've been a member for 6 months. And then you get access to the program for as long as you remain a member. Alternatively, in January, when it's launched, you can buy the mastery program for £197. There are some of the core modules. The slide would have been far too busy to put everything that's going to be in the system. and there will be a huge amount of knowledge download in there, which will help you along your journey to using LinkedIn to generate revenue for your business. And you will get a trial of a Mastermind membership as part of the deal for signing up in January. And then also in January, I'm going to be launching the online coaching program to go alongside the LinkedIn Mastery program. This will start in February. We'll launch it in January, but it will actually start in February, and it will comprise an introductory call and then 8 weeks of coaching, where I will guide you through which modules on the online program to watch in the coming week. And then at the end of each week, we'll go through any questions and challenges about implementing that and answer all of your questions and help you actually leverage the program so that by the end of 8 weeks, you are starting to generate leads through your LinkedIn profile and your use of LinkedIn. And again, there'll be a Mastermind membership trial at the end of that, and then a deal for you going forward. Now, if anyone's interested in any of those, Mastermind, the online program or the coaching program, it's not launched yet. It will be launching in January, and I'll be talking about it at the Surrey Business Expo, where I'm also running a workshop. And if you're interested and want to get on the pre-launch list, then connect with me if you're not connected, or message me and I will add you to the list and keep you informed of when things start to become available. So I'm going to open it up now to questions to see if anyone has anything you'd like to ask. We'll come out of view mode. Any questions I can answer for anyone? Stunned silence.
I've got the, sorry, go on, please.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Richard. I'm trying to find my mute button.
I've got 2 questions, but my first one is really Santa Claus. Santa Claus, I'd like to ask, can I have a new bike for Christmas?
But of course you can, little boy.
Oh, excellent, thank you. I'm really sorry, I tried to sit on your lap the other day. I'm sorry about that.
Was that you?
Alan, on your profile, your own profile, if I'm not mistaken, when you're in the edit profile, on the right-hand side, it showed your company, and then beneath that was your education.
Correct. The highest level of your education.
I think there were just 2, but on the public perspective, it showed 3. Is that right?
I didn't think so. Let me just.
It said the third one was website.
And have a quick go back to. No, what it was showing was that the third line it was showing on the public one there is website.
That's right.
Which would normally be visible through your through your contact information.
Okay, got that. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, I can't help laughing. The Santa Claus for you. But apart from that, very good. I wanted to say that I think that you have a very good mentor here, because I would like to just give a referral, a spontaneous referral, because I have noticed that lately I have changed the content of my posts, and it's starting to pay, I may say. Now I still have a way to go, because we talked about linking with Eventbrite. I spoke to an IT expert who begged the question, however, is it still working with LinkedIn? Because he questioned the fact that it might be something that no longer can be matched. Is that the case?
No, you should, if you're creating an event on LinkedIn, you can use whatever platform to deliver that event or to get registrations for that event. And you can put your Eventbrite registration code into the registration form area on the LinkedIn event. But the key is that you should be creating your event as a company page. That's where you get the registration option. If you try and create it as an individual, you won't get that option. So you really need to create a company page, and then you can create LinkedIn events off the back of that company page, and gives you far more options to be able to control what's going on with your event. So much more important.
Yeah.
So another benefit of having a company page. Any other questions?
Yes, I've got one, Alan. The unless it's a cat meme or something hilarious, I'm pretty clueless when it comes to social media. So would you recommend that I signed up to the mastery thing first, or did the coaching thing first?
Right. So if you want to start from scratch effectively in terms of understanding your journey, the online program will take you through that. The coaching program will give you 8 weeks of group coaching to help you achieve that. So so the online coaching program gives you access, 12 months access to the online program, and then 8 weeks of taking you through one step at a time, everything that's in that program to enable you to start leveraging LinkedIn and using it to create your content. And then you'll have a trial month in the mastermind group, where you've got then a month of weekly meetings where you can follow up with all sorts of questions. That's where people like Claudine and Keith come along to find out what's going on and where they need any help with any problems.
Perfect. So in terms of hand holding, that's the one to go for.
Indeed, yes.
Perfect. Okay, lovely. Thank you very much.
That's a pleasure. Any other questions? Right. Well, thank you all very much for turning up. I will be posting the recording onto my YouTube channel, and I would encourage you to share the recording with all of your friends and colleagues, get them to have a look.
Yes, sorry. I have one question.
Yes, certainly.
When you create the company page, is that free?
Yes, company pages are all free. Yes, yes. And there's a recording in the mastermind group of the company page sessions that I ran for the mastermind members a while back. So I'll send you a link to that, Claudie.
Thank you.
Okay. Right, so if there's no more questions, we'll leave it there. Thanks everyone for turning up, and as I say, share the recording as far and as wide as you can. It's all about making people, getting people more value out of their LinkedIn profiles. Just all remains is for me to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous New Year, and see you again soon. Bye for now.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks very much.